just now we enter into very interesting conversation. And I remember one experience. After I came from India, I went to my village. And in my village, there are very, very simple people. Just my neighbor, which I know him for quite a while. I remember just in the first days after coming from India, I was working in the garden, and he was in his garden just next to me. And he was also working there, and we started to talk something, and he was expressing such a simplicity, like that kind of simplicity which is like of a peasant, like a real peasant, not having any clue about anything. And I look at him and I was feeling, oh my God, this is it. It was always there, in everyone. This is it. I had to make all this loop, like 10,000 kilometers till Tiruvannamalai and back to see it. Just to be able to see it. I could have seen it not making this loop, but I was not there. So to have this perspective that everyone has it, like in the spiritual terms, now I will translate it like everyone has the Buddha nature, takes this journey. The journey is necessary in order to take you into the space of from which you can perceive it, like, okay, everyone has the Buddha nature. They might think of themselves that they are lost, but this experience of being lost, this perception of being lost, it's a dream-like. But you cannot have this perception until you've finished the journey. Not about yourself and not about the others. And you look at the simple peasant just doing his work there with the land and planting the corn. We plant a lot of corn. Working with his cattle, and it's spring and it's perfect. No noises, just the birds and wind. Like, whoa, it was always here. Just in my own house, in my own yard. Maybe sometimes he's discontent with his own life. I know this for sure. But I was not talking about this. I was talking about the perfection of what I was perceiving at that moment. Which is like, you know what, all these are included in this perfection. Because I felt like, come on, why this guy has to go into a journey? And it's obvious, he's old, he's like in his 80s. And it's obvious that he will never go any other journey other than his own tradition, which means go to the church on a Sunday, dress nice clothes. And I feel deeply in me that this guy will never do anything else than that. And for him, this is enough. In his system, in his own bubble, he feels like I did my duty towards God. I complete my journey. And even though from my perspective is like, oh, you know what, that's not God. I might think that. In a really, really deep sense, I regard that as perfect. Just because it happens. But pay attention, this is a very different dimension. To regard something as being sacred just because it exists. Not because of the qualities, not because of... just because it exists. The mind might label it as bad or might label it as good. It's a different dimension. So in a way, when something like this is described, and in all the stories and all the sayings of all the spiritual guidance, what is described is the sacredness and the perfection of the moment. Not actually the person that was being sacred or complete. Or, okay, the peasant will do what he has to do. Doesn't matter. Put it very, very simple. I feel it implies to see myself in there and to have the deep realization that I will not change a thing. Even if I will live that experience of being the person, going to the church, just doing ordinary things, I will not change a thing. It means that the mind that says it should be different than what it is should be completely quiet. And sometimes the mind shouts very strong, like, oh, you know what, this person is lost, or no, just it's perfect as it is. It is actually a great realization when you reach this point to regard all journeys as being sacred, no matter how they happen. That's perfect. That's peace.